This is the basketball show. What they gonna say next?
Hello, we are pumped for another episode of the Basketball Show this week, proudly brought to you by TCL Mobile, 2K and News Corp. I'm Jo Healy, alongside Shane Hill as always. Hammer, how you doing?
Deep breath. Bad 24 hours, Joe. I'm not flying with a certain airline ever again.
Yeah, it wasn't good, was it?
Terrible. Why weren't you there? How come I had to fill in for you anyway?
I had to work, sorry. Glad you're back though, glad
Anyway,
you're
I'm
back.
grumpy today.
Let's get straight into it with Under the Spotlight, the
Yes.
MVP conversation.
Stop it.
Just needs to stop.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No more. I've heard Humphreys, I've heard Creek, I've heard Sobey, I've heard Mooney. People have to just stop it. There's one MVP in this league and might as well just give it to Bryce Cotton now. He's a superstar. He just keeps getting it done. No one's even close. It's not even close, Joe.
It's unbelievable how guys are sticking to him and he's still getting these shots up and he's still just dropping buckets, and especially at crucial times in games.
He's a freak. He really is. And the amount of attention that gets put on him, and the system's run for him, which is great. You know, credit to Trevor Gleeson for actually providing a system, continuing to go through his best player. I think he played 38 minutes. Some of the coaches can take a leaf out of his book, playing their best player 38 minutes too, by the way. Does he look like he's getting tired? No. And he just keeps getting it done.
I have a feeling I know who you're alluding to there. Let's get straight into our TCL starting five though. Speaking of the Wildcats, Luke Travers feels like he is developing quite nicely. 18 points, I think, in 9 minutes against the Kings.
Yeah, something like that. He might have gone 100% from the field too. I wouldn't know because I was stuck on the tarmac. But he looks like a good kid. I mean, he came with big raps at the start of the year, even to the extent where Trev decided to start him. And that was a mistake. And it was almost like when he started, then he took a big backward step and then didn't play as much, lost a bit of confidence. Looked like he's coming good again. Now he's probably back at the level that he probably should have been at the start and just inching his way in on this fantastic Perth team. I mean, they're so deep. They play so well together, so much defence. He's got the length and athleticism. He looks like he's going to be exciting.
He looks really comfortable out there as well, like
Yeah.
he's just enjoying himself, which is great to see. Speaking of development players, or players' development, I should say, Ryan Broekhoff has come out and said that Joe Ingles had a big impact on him as a bit of an inspiration. You've got a bit of a story about working with the two of them when you were coaching.
Well, no, when I was at the Dragons, we just invited some of these young kids in and he was one of them. So there was 3 of the young boys from Frankston, I think they were. They were all on the under-16 state team. And I remember Jack Watts, who ended up going on and playing AFL. He was there as well. And I remember Guy Malloy was coaching the under-16 team and he said, that Jack Watts, he's going to be a superstar. And I'm like, mate, you're kidding. Broekhoff is the best of all of those young kids. And I've just liked everything about him since a young kid. And he looked up to the right person in Joe Ingles, came to a few sessions. So always great experience when you got younger guys around the group where you can learn from a pro and someone especially as young as Joe was.
New Zealand Breakers, Colton Iverson, they had a win. He had a big game, 10 points, 20 rebounds, which I think was equal with the franchise record.
Yep.
What are you liking about his game? And actually, I should mention in that one, he wasn't going to play. He didn't even bring the right trainers.
Well, he should do that every week. Don't bring the right gear. Give yourself a 5% chance of being able to play and then go and pull down 20 rebounds. But he's been good. I've liked him from the start in the fact that he's not going to be a superstar, but they brought in a big body to be able to take up space, set big screens for the Webster brothers and some of the scorers that they thought they had. He's played that role and he's probably overachieved. I think he's going to be even better when they get a new import come in, when Corey Webster comes back into the team as well, because he can play that role, get to the right spot. He doesn't have much athleticism, about as much as what I do right now, I reckon, at the big fella. He doesn't jump, but he gets to the right spots. I love him.
He was pretty tough on the O boards as well over the weekend, which was really impressive. The Breakers' chief executive, Matt Walsh, came out on social media and had a bit of a go at the referees, sort of said it's the same thing over and over again.
He didn't mention the referees. I think he was talking about the meal that was delivered to him, or surely he wasn't talking about the referees, because he had a couple. He just said, I'm over it, didn't he? Why do I do it, or something like that?
He did, yeah. Fine.
He could have been doing anything.
Hypothetically speaking, if he is talking about the referees, how do you feel as a club chief executive being able to come out and criticise like that?
Well, I can understand the frustrations because the level of play probably has been higher than what the refereeing standard has been. So there's always frustrations, particularly people coming from overseas. That's why the imports struggle to be able to adjust at different stages. But yeah, Matt Walsh, there'd be a lot of frustration about everything that's going on with the NBL for poor old New Zealand. So if you don't feel like you're at the right end of the stick with the refs, easy to be able to boil over, especially if you're, at the pub or I don't know where he was.
Matt Walsh needs to go to a new restaurant, let's say,
Does he?
for next time.
Maybe. He didn't like the food.
No.
He did not like what was being dished up.
We've already talked about how well the Wildcats are going. I think it's 11 wins from their last 12 games.
Yep.
Melbourne United had a really good weekend as well.
Yep.
A couple of people back from injuries. Chris Golding finding his form again. Can anybody else in the league stop these two teams?
No, I don't think so.
Just full
That's
stop?
the segment.
Yeah.
No, I think with Jack White back as well, obviously Golding got a few more touches, which we've been screaming out for however long. He's a superstar. He's the best player on that team by far. They need to get him the ball and good things will happen. But, they're going to be right up there. They've got more talent than any other team in the competition. I think someone like White just plays that role, that defensive role with his size and doesn't take away from anyone else, which makes them better. But Perth are a machine. They are a machine because if you match up what they've got compared to all the other teams, you take Bryce out of it and Mooney out of it, they don't have a lot. They really don't. They've got role players. So the system works, their culture works, their discipline, their effort plays. Everything works so well that they are a machine right now.
What about the Phoenix? Keeper Sykes coming back in once he finds his rhythm again. They've got Brokoff there.
They've got the talent. They've got more talent than Perth. Way more talent than Perth. I'm not sure the system works. They give up too many points. Not nearly as good defensively as what the Wildcats are as well, but they've got way more talent. They've got twice the talent than Perth, haven't they? You agree?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So
Bryce Cotton makes up for three people.
Three men.
Yeah.
He is three men, Bryce Cotton.
It is time for Points Made, pitting Hammer up against Derek Rucker. D-Ruck, hello to you. I'll start with you first. If you had to choose Will Magnay or Jock Landau to be in the Boomer squad for the Olympics this year, who would you take?
That is a tough question right there. I'm going to have to go with Will Magnay. I think he provides a little bit more on the defensive end. Landau's form over the past 3 weeks has been concerning for me, Shane. And I think with Magnay's experience in the NBA, he's going to be a better player in 3 months' time than Landau is. So right now, it's a tough decision, but I'm going to go with Will Magnay.
Well, that's a tough one, all right, no doubt about that. I think Will Magnay will be the better player of the two, but because he's not playing a whole lot of minutes at the moment, Jock Landau is, even though I think he's underachieving on what I expected him coming into the NBL. I think the fact that he's been there, he's done it, he has that experience, and he's playing a whole lot of court time to get ready for it. I'd still go with Landau, but geez, Will's going to be a great player.
It was good to see Magnay get his first few minutes for the Pels last week, so hopefully he does get some more opportunities there. Hammer, coming back to you now, Adelaide import Brandon Paul, he's not playing enough, he's not starting. What would you do?
I'd start him, I'd play him, I'd give him the ball. That's what they brought him here to be able to do. I can't believe the lack of minutes they're playing him. And as an import, you come in from another country, they brought him in for a reason, because they're struggling. They need him to be able to produce. He would be frustrated. I would love to have a beer with Connor Henry and find out really, why are you not playing this guy? Because obviously there's something that we can't see.
Well, if you had gotten on a proper airline yesterday, perhaps at halftime during your interview, you could have found out what happened in the first half. Look, Brandon Paul sat on the bench. Connor Henry is icing the guy. I have no idea what's going on. And somebody's got to have a talk to Connor Henry and tell him to play him. Who's the boss down there? Is it Jeff Van Groningen? Jeff Van Groningen needs to get his act together also and get Connor Henry out on the floor. They've got to put some pressure on that coaching staff to allow him to play. They're losing Giddey, which has hurt their offense tremendously. The best thing you can do now is just get your best offensive weapon out there and go for it, Shane. He needs shots. He needs court time.
You want Connor Henry on the floor or you want Brandon Paul?
I want Brandon Paul.
Okay.
I want Connor Henry out of there soon if he doesn't start getting some wins on the board.
He's certainly a man under pressure at the moment. Let's go to NBA now. Indiana's Miles Turner He declared that he has the highest impact defensively on the league. He had 7 blocks against the Mavs. Is that kind of thing considered a little bit too arrogant, or is that what the NBA teams want to hear, D-Ruck?
Well, it's crazy because Draymond Green came out and said a similar thing the other day, and it was met with mixed reviews. But now Draymond is an established championship winner. He's done it at on the highest stage with the Golden State Warriors. Miles Turner, for him to make this claim is crazy. Block shots are overrated anyway, Hammer. You know that very much. I mean, I blocked your shot a couple of times from the 3, and then you come back and stroke one in my face. The net gain is yours, okay? So, no, Miles Turner is not one of the elite defenders in the NBA. I don't know what you think, Shane. Let me hear it.
Well, I love the fact that he's actually come out there and he's beating his own drum. He needs to be able to do that. That's what they do in the States. He has to be able to do it. The fact that we're talking about him puts him in that conversation. I like his defence. You know, he's not known as an offensive player, but he doesn't necessarily need to be if he's playing good pick and roll defence. He plays good post defence. He's a great rebounder. I like his defensive aspect, and the fact that he can actually protect the paint a little bit is a good thing as well. So I'm a fan of his, and I'm happy to hear it.
Is he a better defender than Draymond Green? Is he a better defender than Rudy Gobert?
Well, he's different than both of those guys.
Who would you rather have defending?
Probably Gobert.
Thank you.
All right, I want to ask you guys about NBA super teams. LaMarcus Aldridge went to the Nets, Andre Drummond to the Lakers. Hammer, who won that move?
Well, I think the Lakers did. I think Andre Drummond is going to be perfect for the Lakers. The fact that they've got, a big guy that doesn't want to play inside, that wants to go and shoot threes, I think Drummond is the perfect complement for him to be able to do that. LaMarcus, he's really struggled in San Antonio. This might be his second coming to be able to make something happen where there's not a lot of pressure on. He doesn't like the pressure. He's a bit softer to me. So I think the Lakers won that one.
I'm not so sure. On the talent level, yes, Andre Drummond is the better talent, Shane. There's no doubt. But at this stage in his career, he's still trying to aspire for great personal achievements. And I'm not sure that fits in well with the Lakers trying to win a championship. So in that respect, sure, the Lakers have won it. But is he going to fit in well when Davis and LeBron come back? So I'm going to hedge my bets a little bit and say I think Aldridge, if the Nets win the championship, it will be due to the fact that he is able to give them the role that they want from him, and that is going to help them win the title. I think there's still a little bit left, very little bit left in Aldridge's tank.
Very quickly before we go, D-Ruck, what do you think of these NBA super teams? Do we like the concept?
I don't love it. I mean, it's exciting at times. I thought Durant joining the Warriors was great. I really enjoyed that. But now I'm starting to get overrun with it, Joe. It's starting to be a bit too much for me. I mean, Shane was always trying to build super teams in the NBL, recruiting late at night, doing all types of stuff. So I know he's probably an advocate for this type of thing.
Well, in fact, it was actually the opposite. I didn't go to the Melbourne Tigers to play with Drewy and Copes and Hoagie and those guys for that reason, because I didn't want to win a championship playing for the Melbourne Tigers.
Claims.
I wanted to go for the Sydney Kings and win the first ever championship. So I'm not big on it, but, sometimes it comes unstuck as well. Have a look at the Clippers. How's it gone for them so far?
I know. And there were times, Shane, where there was the possibility existed that you and I could have teamed up. And while that would have been great, I also enjoy going at you all the time. And, would you have ever gone and played with Ricky? Would you ever gone and played with D-Mac? There was still a bit of I want to prove that I'm better than those guys, And if we'd have won a championship together, it would have been great to have a championship, but would it have brought you the same utility that you got from winning it on the team that you ran? You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm with you.
Good discussion this week, guys. D-Ruck, thanks so much for that. We'll see you again next week for Points Made. Well, there's been plenty of movement across the NBA with the trade deadline.
Yep.
RJ Hampton is one. He was traded from the Nuggets to Orlando. My question, was it too early or was he a letdown?
Well, he played 9 minutes a game, a couple of points, and I don't think he's a letdown. I think he's got trade value for Orlando. So this is, he's not going to get too many wins at Orlando with the rebuild, but he's going to be part of that. I think this is a really good thing for him to rebuild player more significant role and get a chance to be able to grow with that sort of experience. So I tick the box for that one.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I can see how it might be a little bit disappointing knowing that you've got a really hard road ahead, but so long as he's there with a really supportive organisation and they all buy into that, I think that could be really...
Expectations are going to be low.
My team, Miami.
Aren't you happy? Look at you.
We
like
won
a
the
peacock.
trade deadline.
You've been all day. Huh?
Victor Oladipo.
Yep.
Coming in for pretty much next to nothing. Kelly Olynyk, good player, sort of played his part.
Geez, you've given him the flick quick,
But
haven't you?
he had a ceiling, I think. And then Avery Bradley hasn't played too much either, so they've gone. I think that's a great shout. It's a great move.
Why? What's he going to do?
I don't think he is the star of a team like he was, I guess, meant to be in Houston, but I think he comes in and he's going to play a great part. 20 points a game, the experience that he has as well. I'm happy with that. We were in the market for Kyle Lowry. That is probably one of the biggest deals that obviously didn't happen, or the biggest deal that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I reckon we'll get him in free agency at the end of the year.
We will we?
Yep.
Okay. No, Oladipo, that's a good one. What I like about him is he can play off the dribble, which is a lot different than their other scorers as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a good mix. They're back.
Chicago did really well.
Chicago, the big fella, Vucevic.
Massive. That's huge for them. A couple of other smaller pieces, Daniel Tice as well. So
I just like the fact that they've got a great guard in Levine and then a big fella that can pick and pop, take up space. They're going to be tough. They've already put a lot of points on the board. They'll put up more now. Yeah,
no, that's really exciting. We'll have to get Damien Cotter back on the show and find
Great
out.
Man. He'll teach him a few things, just like the Ringwood Hawk days. Damien Cotter.
Well, it's time for another In-Depth brought to you by 2K. This week we're joined by Kings Import, Jarell Martin. Jarell, great to have you on the basketball show. You guys are coming off a tough loss to the Wildcats. You had a good game yourself. What did 40 say to you afterwards?
Yeah, we came out and, we didn't execute our game plans that we, went out and scouted beforehand. But, we're definitely going to these next few practices and focus up and tune in on the things we need to work on and, come out ready to play them next time.
Jarell, what surprised you about the NBL, if anything, and how is the style a little bit different than what you're normally used to playing with?
The competition level and physicality, it is definitely more than what I expected it to be. And, it's definitely a physical league. Guys are being a lot physical with me, especially. So, trying to find ways to, not let it get to me and try to use that physicality to draw fouls and stuff. But sometimes it don't go in my favor.
You've certainly added something that's unique to the league with your ability to be able to play in the post, but equally as well, and sometimes even better, we've been able to put the ball on the floor for a big fella, mate. You've got great skills.
I get that to my high school coach, let me run point guard in high school. So all credit goes to him.
How much do you think about the NBA at the moment? Is it a daily focus for you to try and get back there?
Yes, it's definitely a daily focus. Just making sure that I'm, not slipping up and not getting comfortable. I know my task and what I want to do and to able to get back to the league. So definitely take it one day at a time and trying to better myself and put myself in a position to have another opportunity.
And what are those tasks, mate? What's the feedback been from NBA teams about what you need to be able to develop and continue to show whilst you're playing in the NBA?
A lot of my things before I came into the NBL was the biggest thing was being in shape. A lot of teams was talking about my issue with being in shape, and a lot of that was due to my eating habits and stuff, and the off season, eating real bad in the off season and stuff, and not going as hard in the off season. But definitely as you get older, you tend to know all the things that you need to do and to put yourself in a position. So definitely maturing in that level and trying to better myself as a person on and off the court.
What would your message be to NBA teams out there scouting? Why should they have you on their roster?
Just the things that I bring to the game, my versatility, being able to score, in the paint and on the perimeter as well, and also on the defensive end, being able to guard. I can guard the perimeter, and I can also guard down in the low block. So, I think those tasks can definitely help a team, and I feel like it definitely can help a team for sure.
And mate, lastly, lifestyle here in Australia, how have you found it? No doubt getting out to all the beaches?
I haven't been to a beach yet.
Oh, come on.
Since I've been here. Yeah, my teammates be trying to get me out to come, but I just haven't been up to it. We don't have beaches in Louisiana, so it's not a big thing of mine. But I'm definitely going to get out there one day and visit the beach and get some pictures and stuff. So my family asks me a lot as well to send them some pictures of the beaches and stuff. So I'm definitely going to find one day to get out.
You're living in a beautiful city. Get out and enjoy it, but keep the focus on the Kings as well. Good luck for the rest of the season, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Well done, Jarell.
Thank y'all for having me.
Good on you, mate.
Great to hear from Jarell Martin there. Seems like a really down-to-earth, nice
Your
guy.
challenge, take him to the beach. Take him to Bondi.
Yeah, I feel like
he doesn't get to leave Homebush.
Although, if you live in Sydney, Bondi is not the beach you'd go to, surely.
Okay, well, I don't know. Just, tell him to pack his surfboard, but he's off to Perth this week, so you want to pack his jump shot for that one. It's going to be a tough one. Red Army will be waiting.
They will be.
And cocky.
They will be ready.
They will be cocky this week.
All right, that is all we've got time for. Thank you to our sponsors, TCL Mobile, 2K and News Corp. We'll leave you with our top 5 plays of the week. The big men were throwing it down this week. At 5, Geordie Hunter got the home fans on their feet with this dunk.
What a pass! Where to Hunter? Little pocket pass, and Geordie Hunter flush with the left hand.
He has been playing some great basketball, and what an aggressive finish.
Next up, Ty Harrison put the ball on the floor and didn't wait around for Colton Iverson.
Nice crossover, Harrison, and then into the lane for the jam.
Great take from the big fella. He's shown us a little of that this season. The ability to put it on the floor, attack off those elbow catches.
At 3, Bryce Cotton strips the ball in D and hands John Mooney a dime for the and one.
Cotton comes up with it. Oh, magnificent pass to Mooney, and one play coming up.
And that's what you cannot do. Turn the ball over, they make you pay.
Chris Goulding is next. He's been on fire from range, but his footwork here was on another level.
Goulding's managed to get everything to go down. Now he's taking the you-know-what.
Wow, that's just incredible world-class shot making.
And finally, it's Jared Kenny, because you just can't go past a half-court shot on the buzzer.
Kenny, half court, Euro step and take a heat from half court. We'll just see where it lands. I like the patience from Nate, and then Kenny, wham it! Off the backboard as the buzzer sounds.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.